What is up, guys? It's your boy Speed here. Alright, we're talking about Nature's Prophet. This is one of my favorite heroes in Dota. Just kidding. It's my favorite hero in Dota. And recently it got nerfed and buffed. Very weird. Basically, it got nerfed in 7.232. Essentially, what they did is they got rid of the shard, which is really bad. I'm not going to find it. I'm not even going to try to find it. But the big thing that they really did, which I definitely can find, is in 7.32b, the mini patch, they improved Nature's Prophet's base attack time from 1.7 to 1.5. Now, you might have no idea what this means. I'm going to give you a bit of perspective, okay? You do need to understand Alk a little bit, but you guys know how Alchemist's ulti gives him attack speed? Hopefully you do, otherwise this isn't going to make any sense. But Alchemist's ulti reduces his base attack time. Yeah, you heard that right. Significantly, by the way. Alk in Chem Rage, I don't think maybe he has the lowest base attack time in the game. At level 18, I think Alk has the lowest base attack time in the game for a hero, because his base attack time goes down to 1. And you can notice when you are in your regular form, compared to your Chem Rage, the attack speed difference, it's miles difference. And so you can see also that in the ulti it scales from 1.2 to 1. That seems really insignificant, right? But it's not. I don't know exactly how it works. I'm not going to claim that I do, but this was majorly buffed about the hero. So honestly, I think Prophet is a carry. I play it offlane in this game, but I honestly think that this hero is either a carry or a hard, greedy scaling mid. Can you play it offlane? Absolutely. I play it offlane in this game. This is on my main account. You know, this is not some cheese game. It's like 9 I don't even know what my main is. 9.7, 9.8, something like that. So either way, in terms of treants usage, right off the bat, in terms of treants usage, you spawn right away, right? So you want to spawn right away, and then you spawn again off cooldown, right? So as they come back up, I spawn again, and I'm going to use them to scout. I want to see what the enemy's lanes are. I can use them to scout out wards. It's just good to give a little bit of vision for your team. Always pretty useful. So send the treants out. Send them to the rune, pick up the rune, and yeah, I even spawn again, just so you really understand. Right as they come back up, again, I spawn them. Okay, not literally instantly, but pretty close to instantly. In terms of my item build, I considered going Blight, but Void's armor is pretty high, so it's not really good against Void. It's okay against Undying, but he bought a Ring of Protection, which I think was kind of smart. So, honestly, I like kind of just going the stick-based build so that you can spam treants more frequently. This is personally my favorite build to go right now, if I can go it. If it is a really low armor lane, or a lane I'm going to auto-attack a lot, like it's a bunch of weak ranged heroes, then I will pick up a Blightstone, but this is certainly not that lane. Now, what's really crazy about the hero is how fast it hits. So I'm going to put the game in 1x speed here, and I just want you guys to see how frequently I can attack. When I'm auto-attacking off cooldown, how frequently I can attack. It's actually insane what this hero has now in terms of attack speed. And it's really useful for CSing and denying, because you can see I can just hit this and then immediately hit that, right? It's like boom, boom. And so if you get good at last hitting on Furion, honestly, I'm beating this guy on CS. I'm 14-3 to his 12-2. And you might be like, that's not that impressive. I literally got zoned off the first 2 creep waves by an Undying, right? So, by like literally the best laner in the game, Undying. And yet I still won the CS battle. And honestly, I think a lot of it comes down to this base attack time buff is freaking massive. Now, honestly, I think the Gloves of Haste is a little overkill. I will admit, I do think it's good. And as you see, that kind of also helps me just hit, deny, CS deny, etc., etc. But you can also just buy the, what is it called? Mantle? Robe of the Magi? Just so you have 6 extra damage. I think that's honestly a decent option too, because you hit so fast, bringing yourself up to 72 base damage is pretty good at level 3, and can help you deny and CS as well. And really, if you have the right laning matchup, which I kind of do here, I think Prophet against Void is very Prophet favored in the lane, because he can't kill your treants, he can't threaten them at all, and he doesn't really threaten you either, because you stay so far away from him that he can never really use time dilation. And so you can just kind of keep the wave back, and if you look at it from this guy's perspective, this is so sad, dude. It's so sad. He's just like, yeah, I guess I'll get enough passive gold. And he's like, oh, okay, the Furion will push in the wave and I can jungle when it's under tower. But the reality is, if I never shove in the wave, because I know what this guy's doing. Like, honestly, I've made this play so many times, and I've watched the replay. It always feels so good because I watched the carry's perspective, and they have to hit some crappy large camp, and I'm just keeping the wave back. I decided to shove it in here only because I had a cart, right? So I had a specific reason to shove it in. I wanted to pressure the tower on the cart wave. So that was obviously the reason to make this play. Ended up TPing to a fight here. Basically, just for some a bit of a tip on this hero, just don't TP anywhere until you're level 6. This is not necessarily what pros do, but that's because they have very synergized and intentional plays that they'll make around the map. You're not Team Aster or LGD, so just stay in your lane and take my word for it. It's way easier to make plays, especially when you don't have synergy with your team. When you have your ulti, because I send it in here, does a bit of damage to the Undying and the Skywrath, and we pick up the kill. After that, I'm going to immediately run back to lane, look to finish up the tower. I would imagine the Treants plus card took, yeah, okay, about half the tower. That's pretty good. Right, it's pretty good, considering I TP'd out. It's really good. And we get most of the tower. From there, I decided to go Witchblade, which is a build I've been experimenting with. It feels pretty good. The reason why I like it is when you TP on someone, Sprout is shit now. Like, I'll just keep it real. They got rid of, like, one of the biggest parts of the hero, which was your shard. Because when you sprouted someone, well, if they didn't have the right item, which was like phase boots or force staff, or a mobility ability, they couldn't get out, right? And so it was huge, right? Because you didn't have to buy Witchblade to hit them. But now it's like you can't keep them in the Sprout. Any decent player is going to have a Quelling or Tangos. And so they're always going to get out, including the mid to late game. Like, even the Sprout Leash's talent at 20 is way worse now because you can't keep them in the Sprout. I mean, that's not always true, right? Some heroes late game like Storm and Puck won't have a Quelling, in which case you can, and then the talents are still good. Like, don't get me wrong, they're still definitely good. But the Witchblade really just helps you stay on top of people. It's very hard to hit a hero a lot as Prophet without them just running away with the shard change. And so you can't really go like Maelstrom Shard like I would like to in the past, because that was kind of such a high DPS build. The Witchblade is great though, right? With the lowered base attack time, you get more value out of the attack speed. And on top of that, it works well with Maelstrom because attack speed plus Maelstrom is really good. So the build feels great with the nerf to Sprout, nerf to the Shard / nerf to Sprout. And, you know, I really think the Witchblade is quite good now. And I don't want to say necessary, but it feels kind of close to necessary, I'll be honest, in a lot of games. So in terms of overall gameplay, I'm mostly farming. My team comp this game was trash, and my other lanes kind of got crushed. Like, my safe lane kind of got dumpstered. My mid lane's 1k gold down. So, in general, this game was not going well. And when your other two lanes lose as Prophet, you can't really do anything because your hero is not the setup hero, and it's not the early game dominator, right? Does it have a lot of impact? Yeah, it does. Like here, I TP'd in. I wanted to use my Witchblade, look to pick up the DK, so we sneak a DK play, but then instantly I'm like, I'm out, right? I get that kill, I'm like, I know the rest of their team is coming, I just book it. I'm out of here. I don't even stop to hit a camp. I just immediately run away. I'm going to clear up the top wave, and then immediately look to, I think I actually killed one more wave. Yeah, so this is something I'll do quite a bit that I highly recommend if you're going to play this hero. Use the Treants to scout. They're pretty garbage at farming. Like, the Shard was good at farming, but the Treants are, the lesser Treants are just garbage, right? They're just straight up bad. And so, don't even bother, right? Don't even, for the most part, they're good early game. Like, I always max them to farm early game, but in terms of clearing waves, you don't really need them. And so, it's better just to use them for vision as my team feeds again. So this is one of those games where it's kind of a despair Furion game. I'm just trying to clear out the side lanes and stall because we have a Klinks carry. Like, this guy needs to farm. I need to farm. My Invoker is kind of a trash early game hero. Like, it's just a hard game as I get caught top. And I just want to show you guys how fast Furion actually farms. I don't think people get it who are like not Furion players how quickly this hero farms. So I'm going to put it in one-time speed just for proper perspective. But look at this, okay? This is one-time speed. I was looking. That was a Kunkka illusion. So I'm looking. But this is with the base attack time increase. Also, I am getting IO overcharged, but that really doesn't change too much. That camp would have died just as fast. Close to just as fast. But this is not even with overcharge, right? You just shred through camps because your Maelstrom proccing like crazy due to your low base attack time plus Witchblade attack speed. So just running through creep camps. And this is why this hero is mostly a carry, because you kind of just, you're one of the best farmers in the game. Your hero's base stats are so good, and animation is so good that it just kind of makes for a good carry hero. It makes for a hero that scales extremely well with items as I continue to push in the top side. And yeah, that's just kind of how Furion works. Optimally, you're just jungling through your jungle. Like, as I cleared through this, I immediately want to send my treants to the top wave. I don't feel comfortable pushing a wave near a tier 1. That's way too dangerous. You always should play it more safe than not as Prophet. It's just not worth taking the chance. Your hero can't get away. I do have a relocate, but still, I really don't want to take the chance. By the way, Growbow is like the best item you can get on this hero. It amps your Maelstrom procs, it amps your Witchblade, it gives you attack speed, gives you attack range. It's just a perfect item. Alright, I thought this upcoming play here is just pretty cool. So I am top of the net worth, I'm 15k net worth, and honestly, you need to be top net worth as Prophet in most games. Just for a bit of a goal for you guys, obviously I've refined this hero like crazy. It's my most played hero, so I don't necessarily think you have to go for 15,000 net worth by 25. But if you want a good goal for yourself, I'm not even owning this game, right? I'm 3-3-3. That's pretty cool. But like, I'm not even owning, right? So to be fair, I have games where I'm way more farming than this. I have games where I'm close to Satanic by this point. Either way, just look at this fight, right? I TP in, I'm going to put in 1x speed just so it looks completely real. And look at the damage on the Void. So just from hitting him a bit, you just shred him. And then if he mans up, if anyone mans up, you could pop your Mjolnir shield, which I did do there. It's so... God, replays are so bugged. It's so annoying. Because really, the main advantage of Mjolnir is the active. Like, the attack speed is great, the damage is great, the passive being buffed up a little bit is great, but honestly, the active early game is extremely good. If someone mans up on you, you just do way more. So I go for the Mjolnir shield. It's a little bit bugged, so you can't see it at all, which is weird, but we just shred through that Void. The next clip that was pretty funny, but this one was actually kind of hype. We rip through these heroes. I get a really nice backline stab on 2 supports, and I get manned up on here, but I knew I had my IO in the area, so this was relatively calculated. And look, with the Mjolnir shield procced and the Kling's hitting, the Void, he tried to time walk. He had time walk up, but he couldn't get it off. Because, once again, this is one-time speed. We're on the Void's perspective here. He time walks in, he's gonna man up. Great heals from the IO. Shout out Giant Dota 2. Greatest position 4 player in the region. But but yeah, he just insta dies. This hero hits so hard now with just Mjolnir. You actually chunk. And on the note of hitting hard, I don't need another DPS item. You could go another DPS item, like if you need an MKB for PA or something like that, or you need armor against like Sven, you could go AC. But I'm such a fan of Satanic because it's a well-rounded item in my opinion. You already have a good amount of armor from Witchblade. 23 gives you like 50-something, 58% resist. AC is going to bring you up to like 68, 69, 70% resist, which is like, it's kind of overkill in my opinion. Satanic also helps you live against nukes where AC obviously doesn't. AC also lets you get your BKB forced easier. So I'm a bigger fan of Satanic most games. I think it's just better in my opinion. It's like the same cost too. So we go for the Satanic, which we're going to have around minute 30 here. A little bit later than minute 30, but around minute 30. At this point of the game, I'm generally ulting if I have vision of 3 creep waves. I could have even ultied there, just because I'm just trying to push towards my item timings as we get our next item timing right here. This fight was kind of weird. Okay, this next team fight, this is the craziest. I mean, the reason why I'm really excited to show you guys, I wish I even hyped up this game more just so more people would see it. I feel like I didn't, no. I wish I hyped up this game more just because it was such a crazy game in terms of how it ends. You'll see the late game team fight, I have to buy back and take a risk. But look at this fight. This is crazy. This is the power of the Satanic Mjolnir. Because at this point I have 3k gold. I actually bought a Sanjin Yasha. It amps the lifesteal of the Satanic. And I don't know, I just felt like I didn't need a damage item. I think realistically the safest item to buy is Bloodthorn here. The reason why is it's a really good DPS item. Honestly, a lot of heroes don't have Dispels at this point in the game. Kunga doesn't once BKB ends. This guy doesn't on Undying. This guy doesn't when BKB ends. So like, in later fights, it's going to be really, really good. Same thing with DK. They actually don't have a single Dispel. So I realistically should have bought a Bloodthorn. I'll be real. That would have been probably the best item I could buy to force out early BKBs. And just in general, have a high DPS item. It's a very, like, Bloodthorn active is one of the highest DPS items in the game, but I hit a really good Sprout here to save my Invoker in the chrono. So I save him. We get the Sprout Legion on Void. Doesn't finish him off, but we get Gun on here. We're chilling, right? We're chilling. We got the Mjolnir shield activated. And Void, he's going to time walk back in thinking I'm weak, right? I seem vulnerable here. I'm a prophet in the middle of a bunch of heroes. This is why you never stop manning up. Void jumps in, Mjolnir proc, boom. Mjolnir proc killed him. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that's 100% what bursted him. And he didn't expect to be bursted, but I probably got a Maelstrom proc and a Mjolnir proc at around the same time. And all of a sudden, boom, you take like 400 magical damage, and he just explodes. And that's the Mjolnir right there, for sure. It's very clearly the Mjolnir just proccing as it hits the Undying as well. This Mjolnir shield is just that good. As they try to go on me, the Kunkka tries to go in, but the IO heals come out. We got the Satanic activated, and they all die. Every single hero. They go back in, too. I think I get reloaded out at the end of this, as, yeah, I wanted to go back in. The DK barely died. Unfortunately, I couldn't believe I died here. Was this just unlucky? I couldn't believe I died. Damn, I just barely got bursted. I was so close to killing them. Probably should have went for the earlier Sprout here on Void. I think if I Sprout right away, I actually kill him. Because he doesn't have a Quelling, I think. He doesn't, so I can create the gap. Should have been my... I should have Sprouted. That should have been my reaction. I was too panicked. I mean, to be fair, there wasn't really a great gap to do it, but it would have been the difference. Probably would have zoned out the Kunkka too. That would have turned it around. I felt like there was a way I could have won that. I felt like there was a way I could have won that fight, and turns out there was as I queue up the Bloodthorn. So you can see I do value this item. But either way, we're 6k up, 2 heroes dead though. One doesn't have buyback. You know, they didn't have Chrono, so at least there's that. They also didn't have DK form or Flesh Golem, so we were like, okay, you know, we can force this a little bit as Clinks nearly just dies. I had to go for the buyback, and this is looking kind of suspect, right? I buy back, go on the Kunkka, don't even have BKB, which is a huge risk. So we have to kite out. It feels really awful to buy back like that and get nothing out of it. As we're looking mid, I go for a Sprout, just trying to protect my Primal Beast. Didn't really get anything there, but pop the Mjolnir shield, trying not to over panic. Don't want to waste the BKB. Kind of need it if they go in hard, which they do here, and get chronoed. Really was nervous I would just die here, but beautiful Tornado from the Invoker to save us. As that's going to allow us to easily get off the BKB. I honestly popped my BKB really late here, but I get it off. We're going to be able to Sprout Leash eventually on a Void. I think it was really good discipline for me to save it here. Yeah, this was really high skill actually, because I could have used it earlier. I could have panicked and used it earlier, but like DK has Axe, which I knew, so he can just fly over the trees, and Void was dead the first time, so that was really good discipline as DK nearly dies. Void's leashed up, and great healing from IO here to keep me alive, and we popped the Satanic! Oh baby! We popped the Satanic! We're healing! The leash! Oh! I didn't have buyback. We could have lost the game right there, but instead it turns the other way. The Satanic and the IO healings with the Sanj and Yasha, it works out, right? The status resist as well, allowing me to get off the Satanic. Kind of felt good. I don't know, the Sanj and Yasha with Satanic, it makes you really, really survivable, and allows you to be a frontliner, which this hero usually doesn't. IO helped a lot too, obviously. I'm not going to downplay that, but thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to be the end of today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed and are inspired to try this hero out. It does require a lot of farm. You got to be very greedy. Don't take every single fight that happens. You're going to, try to take fights where the enemy team is diving towers, overextending. They're already low on HP. Like that first TP I made into my triangle this game, it was because they were half HP already, and I felt comfortable that I could clean up. But this hero is much more about cleaning up, less about setting up. If you think about it that way and you play greedy, you'll snowball very hard if you learn how to just farm and clear up all the camps. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace!